Hello viewers and welcome to Proud Professionals. Today it's the pleasure of Radio Dwarka to have Mr. Ashok Narain with us. He is a corporate professional and a certified corporate coach. He has 30 years of vast experience with organizations like Pepsico and Nestle. He has been working with businesses and people across cultures, across India and international domains, and it is nice for us to kind of understand from him about his journey. And welcome, sir. Mr. Sir, it's been great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. I would just like to understand as we start this whole interview or a discussion, what is a certified corporate coach?
Well, to put it simply, as a certified corporate coach, my attempt really is to work with professionals, with people, so that I can help them to become a little more self-aware and be able to, so that they can then sort out their professional and their personal life challenges in life. A lot of our challenges in life are primarily because of certain behaviors, which we practice and which we don't really think about. When that awareness comes in terms of what those behaviors are really doing to us, it becomes so much more appropriate for you to take requisite action.
So you help corporate professionals to sort out their lives. Is that what I can say?
Well, sort out their lives in the sense, I think that accountability really rests with the professionals. But yes, what I actually do is to try and create awareness as to what is the root cause for whatever they are going through, and what is a better way for them to resolve that challenge which they are experiencing.
Right. So you've been with corporates, so you've handled businesses with and the HR side with PepsiCo and other organizations. So how has this journey been from actually being in a corporate world to actually being a coach within the same sphere?
To be honest, Ruchi, it's not been easy. It's not been easy because for close to about 25 years, one was used to a fairly regimented way of life. When you work in a corporate, things are fairly regimented in terms of what your goals are, what you're supposed to do, and how you're supposed to do it, and you kind of live a certain pattern which is prescribed to you. Getting on to something on your own leaves you without that identity of an organization or a title or any such thing, which you typically tend to associate. So you're really on your own out there in this wide world. That shift from a very secure zone into something which is completely on your own is a huge shift, and that transition takes time. So you have to really fight your demons. You have to fight all those, molded thinking which you are made out of, and you have to reinvent yourself to be able to face life all over again.
So since you've always been a corporate coach and you've worked across countries is what I would say, or across cultures, do you see a difference between the way people work in the Indian atmosphere, so corporate professionals in India versus corporate professionals across maybe in US or Brazil or any other country or a continent that you see, that you would like to talk about or share with people?
Not really. I think at the end of the day, we are all human beings, and we go through the same emotions. We go through all the same kind of challenges in our professional and our personal lives. It's really a question of how we tend to address them, how we look at them, from which lens are we kind of, trying to gauge them and to address them. But the issues remain the same. It's, the same thing about facing insecurity, being able to reinvent, getting out of your comfort zone, letting ego play havoc with your character, and all that, and those, and each one of them have several ramifications. Those are the things, which actually play out for all individuals. So it really doesn't matter where you are. The question is only, the challenge is really with which lens are you looking at it and how do you want to address it.
So when we when you have been into the corporate space, coaching people, and in today's world, we really see people wanting to reach the top at the earliest. They just need success, and as you said at the start, the tags or the brandings that we have to carry. How difficult or how easy is to coach them? Because I'm sure when they look for coaching, do they really look for ways to reach that? Or are they looking for just solutions from you?
I think the journey really starts from creating a self-awareness in terms of what that thinking is doing for them. So that self-awareness is very important. It is extremely important to understand as to what their goals are all about. Is there a plan to it? Does it make sense for them? Is it something which they will be passionate about? At what cost are they living their dreams out? And all that put together into what is the kind of credibility, what is the kind of legacy they are leaving behind. So is really life living the way they are living their lives? Or is there a better way to do it? So the attempt here is not to say that you should dilute your goals. The attempt here is really to say that have a plan for it. And be aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay. And do it in the most efficient way. We are all built differently. We all have unique characteristics. We have unique skill sets. There is nothing which is impossible. We just need to know which of those skill sets and which of those values we need to leverage in order to be a success.
And so, as we've talked, and you've been into corporate space and your coaching space, and you've got rich experience, and I'm sure you've had lots of incidents and cases or things that you may remember. Is there something very particular or passionate that you would like our viewers to know of, or maybe something that you feel is a nice piece of advice for our current breed of people that are coming over, or professionals that are coming over from across, irrespective of any sphere, anything that you would want to talk, either a challenge, either an incident, or definitely and an advice.
So I would like to put across some of the learnings which have come to me, because I learn every day. I learn every time I coach. It's not that I have all the answers. I flow with the coachee, and my agenda is the coachee's agenda. So I'm not here to give you prescribed formulas, but I'm here to support you in your journey the way you want it and build that awareness so that you can reach your goal. Some of the things which come up to me and which I have learned from people is, the first one being that don't hold yourself back, right? I think there's always a way to move forward. Most of the time people hold themselves back because of the so-called fear of failure. And it's just a very dominating kind of thought process by which you hesitate to do what you would like to do, and that is not a very helpful state to be in, because it leads to a lot of frustration. My recommendation is that you need to find ways by which you can get yourself out of that comfort zone, and actually by doing so you might just end up surprising yourself. Okay, so that's the first lesson which I've learned, and I've seen that happening. The second is that you need to be confident of yourself, right? Typically, most of us tend to kind of demotivate ourselves consciously in terms of what we can do and what we can't do. Don't do that, because I think I think we are blessed with a lot of skill sets, and we are blessed with a lot of strengths, and I think we need to leverage that. Again, you might just end up surprising yourself. And lastly, I think the pasture. We always live with this thought process that the grass is always greener on the other side. Not necessarily true, right? I've had instances where folks have kind of shared stories. I mean, they've always been envious of others who've had, let's say, so-called more successful experiences. But when they've sat down to share their stories, their real stories, they suddenly realize that their challenges and the challenges you have are the same. I mean, we go through the same rigmarole as everybody else. So it's not, you don't need to necessarily believe that by doing something differently you will find happiness. I think what you need to do, what really need to believe is figure it out yourself, have that confidence in yourself, and get yourself out of the comfort zone if need be. But do what you want to do and find ways to do that.
So, are you really enjoying your second innings?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it because, as I said, it's a great profession to be in. You're helping people out. You're supporting people out. You're being able to learn a lot because every individual you talk to or communicate with, there are new learnings coming in. So, every coaching session is a new experience for me. And I just like to kind of, I feel good when I see that our conversation, the coachee conversation, has been of help to somebody, and that other person is now far more happier than what he was.
So that's nice to hear. And I know we can go on with questions, sir, but I think just being cognizant of time, it was really a nice and an engaging session, and I wish I could continue as much as I can. But thanks for a lot of your advices. I think people need to really understand that it's important to be yourself, as sir said. You have to be happy and contented because, it's important to come out of your comfort zones. Great thoughts, and I think definitely you should be reaching out and having a coach to help you guide and make you take your own decisions. It is about helping, as sir said, to follow your own dreams. Sometimes I think the coach normally helps you to decide while you're standing at a bypass. Which way to take, I think. And that's really what is coming out of the conversation. It's really nice and engaging. And thanks, sir, for really being here. It's really good talking to you. So thanks, viewers. It was really nice to have Mr. Ashok Narain here for the discussion. We look forward for such engaging discussions with the proud professionals. Feel free to reach out to Radio Dwarka if you would like to be a part of the series.